This is Jay Talmer here from theincomejob.com. So, as you're guessing by the title, I wanted to talk to you about hosting today. So, I know I preach a lot that you don't need a website to make money, and I still believe that is true. But at some point, you probably will get a website in your progression in your business, whether that be for an affiliate site just to host some products you have, or just to create a blog. So I've had a number of sites over the years, and when I first started out, I was looking for a place to host my website, and the first place I looked was GoDaddy, just because I'd seen the commercials on TV, I'd seen them on the Super Bowl, so I decided to host my website there. So after a while, I had realized that was not a good hosting company. It was expensive for one. The services you got for what you paid for, I don't think were very good. The interface was not confusing, but very slow to navigate. So after doing some reading, I found that a number of internet marketers were always promoting HostGator. So I looked into HostGator, and I did some more research. I went to Bluehost, and then I saw that there wasn't a whole lot of difference between the two. People were kind of split down the middle of which one to get. So I decided to get HostGator, and for a long time, HostGator was great. There was no problems at all. But over the years, I found that HostGator seemed to get slower and slower, and they were suffering more outages, and I couldn't figure out what was happening because people were still promoting them, but I was seeing my site times, or my load times on my site, get significantly longer and longer, and my sites weren't anything elaborate, and these were even new sites with new databases. I called them because I'm in shared hosting. I asked them to see if there was any problems, anything they could look at, but everything was fine from their perspective. So after a while, I started seeing a lot of outages, and if you look on, I'm just on Twitter right now, and I search HostGator down, and you can see a ton of different tweets about HostGator being down. And being down every once in a while, I get it, that's fine. This is technology, but I'm seeing more and more outages. So I was doing some research, and what I found out was, if you go to theincomejob.com/resources, I have some of the tools I use. I explain some of the tools I use, and when I get to hosting, I talk a lot about Namecheap hosting over HostGator. And I also link to an article here that it kind of goes through why I found that HostGator was not as good as Namecheap. Mainly because I'd found out that HostGator, Bluehost were bought by a large parent hosting company called Endurance International Group. And if you click on their site, these guys basically own a whole bunch of different hosting brands, as you can see here. And all of those data centers, all of those hosting companies are different brands, but a lot of them are in the same physical data center. So if you're thinking that HostGator and Bluehost, maybe one is better than the other, they're really the same thing. In a lot of cases, they're probably hosted in the exact same data center. So when you get an outage to a particular data center, it affects one, multiple, or even all of these hosting companies. So that was one huge reason I didn't want to go forward with them. So I decided that since I'd buying all of my domain names from Namecheap, that I would try out their website hosting. So I went to Namecheap.com, looked on their website hosting, and it's hosted by a company called web-hosting.com. I did some research into them. They have a completely separate facility. They are not part of the Endurance International Group like HostGator and Bluehost. And I found my pages were loading significantly faster. The cost for the service was relatively the same, maybe a few dollars more, but pretty much the same as HostGator. And it's been rock solid. I haven't had one outage in over a year, where in that same time HostGator has probably gone down at least 5 times, that I know of. And if you look, they look fairly similar. They offer email, they offer redirection, they offer a script or a program that you can install, kind of one-click WordPress sites. And if I go to them here's my HostGator control panel. You guys are probably pretty familiar with this. And if I go, here's my Namecheap cPanel. So pretty much the same, but I prefer the actual Namecheap cPanel better. I seem to have less problems when I'm installing WordPress sites and uninstalling them. Where a lot of times when I was doing it with HostGator, I had to go and manually delete databases and clean up files, where the one in Namecheap just seems to clean up after itself significantly better. So, in this case, I'm still on shared hosting, but I definitely prefer Namecheap over HostGator hosting, and I know that's not what a lot of people are telling you out there. That's not what a lot of the big marketers are telling you, but this is what I've seen. I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm going to move everything over to Namecheap probably over the next few months, and probably cancel my HostGator account. I don't need 2 hosting accounts, especially one with HostGator. If I do get a second account, it might be a VPS account with Namecheap or maybe a different company, but just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of these issues and don't just jump on anything that people are promoting. I know you hear about HostGator and Bluehost a lot, but I really suggest you check out Namecheap hosting. If you go to my site, theincomejob.com resources, and go down to Namecheap hosting, and if you click here, you can get Namecheap hosting for under $3 a month. You can get your email, and you can buy your domain names there as well. It's where I prefer to purchase all of my domain names through as well. So I have gotten everything moved over there. If you have any questions, send me an email, j@theincomejob.com, or you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/theincomejob. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.